Hi, welcome to On Learning to Live Well's August menu. We are going to start today with a roasted pepper roulade where I'm going to roast these on the grill and then wrap them up with this delicious blue cheese. And then for our main course, we're going to have grilled corn with cilantro pesto and a zucchini pasta salad. The pasta is not actually made of pasta, but instead made of the zucchini itself. For dessert, we're going to have a raspberry parfait with fresh whipped cream that I'm going to use this local cream to make. And all of these ingredients I sourced locally and have picked up in the last day or two. So everything's super fresh, super local, and it's going to be super delicious.
This is what we will be using today. Corn should always be cooked the day it's picked, for the sugars start turning to starch almost immediately. I will rub it with cilantro pesto, freshly made. Roasted bell peppers are my favorite, and paired with the tangy cheese, they are just incredible. By pairing warm zucchini with the cold lettuce, we will create an interesting play of textures, which will be amazingly delicious as our main course.
Just pour the entire thing in a mixer.
Just don't walk in front of the hammer.
Oh, that's what I want to do though.
And
I won't let you.
on high.
Now I am going to take these peppers outside and grill them so they have time to cool.
Yep.
Alright, I am going to put the broiler on high because there's a bee's nest living in my grill. And instead of grilling anything, I'm going to be doing it with the broiler. So this is a great example of not having a grill, which I happen to have but cannot use at the moment.
So when you're grilling peppers in the stove, just place them as close to the broiler flame as you can and let them crisp up. So I'm going to keep them for 4 minutes on each side.
Wow.
Okay, well, this is not whipped cream, this is butter. Don't leave your whipped cream unattended. This stuff is buttermilk, and the solids are the butter solids. So what you do is you form it together, and then let the buttermilk drain out. And if you want to save the butter beyond a day or two, definitely rinse it. I'm just going to use it today, so I'm not going to bother rinsing.
A fresh butter. And you see that color is very different than any of the colors that you're going to get from store-bought butter, because this has not been dyed. Actually, cream and milk tend to be dyed so they're a uniform white color. Cream is not white, neither is milk. They're both a yellow color. But once you separate the buttermilk, the butter fat, from the cream, you can really tell the difference. So the next thing we'll do is make the zucchini pasta. So I'm just going to set these aside. I'm going to rinse the zucchini. And then cut this sticky part right off. So the next thing I'm going to do with these, the humidity makes everything stick, is grab my vegetable peeler and just quickly, and it's just a matter of getting the most that you can out of the zucchini. If you have a pasta, not a pasta machine, but if you have like a julienne cutter or a mandolin, you can use that in this instance. You have all your zucchini done, you just put it in a bowl.
that. So then you're gonna put salt, a healthy amount of salt, probably 2 or 3 tablespoons. I've already been salting it as I go, so that's all I'm gonna add now. And just give it a nice little stir. And just let it sit for a few minutes to just bring out some of the extra moisture so that when you cook it, it doesn't get too soggy. So I'm just gonna cut. Make sure when you're picking through salad that if you see a bad part, you can either chuck the whole leaf or you can just get rid of the part that's not as good. So there's no reason to eat that. And it'll cut down on the overall value of the dish when you're done. Okay, so once we chop all this lettuce up, put it all in a bowl. And then I'm going to just soak it. If you have pre-washed lettuce, you can just give it a rinse, but definitely if it's fresh, soak it to let all the dirt kind of fall to the bottom, and you can lift the lettuce gently out. It's just
going to get ready for our pesto for our corn. So this is cilantro, and I'm just going to take a little more than half the bunch.
quickly the best leaves. So anything that looks a little scraggly, I'll take a better look at it. That is toast. Oh, you hear that? Is that a pepper? It sounds like popping. That's a bad one. So instead of using a... So I'm just going to rough chop this. I don't have a food processor. If you did, that would be much easier. You could even leave the stems on. So just chop, 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 chop until it's kind of pasty. And then when it's done, just scrape it up and put it into a bowl. When you scrape it all in, you should have roughly a cup. To grill, they are black. So I'm just taking a moment here to flip my peppers. You can see they're nice and burnt on the top, and that's what we want. We want the whole skin to be burned, and then we'll peel it off. So now I am peeling my garlic. If I had a food processor, I would just take the garlic, peel it, and chuck it in with the cilantro. But since I don't, I have to do this all by hand. And there are multiple ways of peeling garlic. I just peel it with my fingernails. And then I'm going to rough chop it, and then tiny dice it, and I'm basically just going to cut it until it's pasty. There it is in the bowl. Then I'm going to add pecans. These pecans are from my friend's grandmother's house in Texas, and they got brought to me by my mother who was visiting. So they're not local, but they're local somewhere. They're definitely from a backyard. So I'm using these fresh. I like to use nuts fresh. They get a little rancid in the bag fairly quickly, so when you can crack them and then use them, there's a definite difference in the flavor. See how healthy they look. So this is another thing, they could all go on a rough chop in the food processor. I'll stop harping on about that. Be careful, don't cut your fingers when you're doing this. That would be a mistake. I didn't use all of them, I just used, about double what the garlic was. And if you want any of these recipes, just go onto the website on learningtolivewell.tv and you can get them for free in an ebook. The whole menu will be there for you. So I'm just going to grate in some salt. If you have And if you don't have a salt grater, that's fine. I just really like thick salt, so I use a salt grater. Plenty of pepper. Then you add in olive oil and mix it so that it gets nice and healthy, pasty. You want it to be able to smear onto things.
Beautiful! That's perfect.
So I'm just taking these out. I'm going to put them in a bowl and then cover that bowl up with a plate so that the peppers steam, and it'll be easy to peel them when they have cooled.
I'm gonna die for
We are back to our lettuce. You remember that? Just letting it drain, and then you can spin it in a salad spinner or in a pillowcase, and then just put it in a large bowl. I'm going to add olive oil to my pan, and then all of the zucchini, and I'm going to squeeze it out really good so that it isn't soggy and ends up having a crisp bite to it. So just let it cook down for a little bit. Give it a stir once in a while. You don't have to stir constantly. That's not really advisable, but just let it. So I'm going to peel these. They're a little too hot still. I didn't really give them the time that they needed to cool, but I have many people in my house and they are getting hungry, so I'm just busting through this. I may just use a knife. Yes, this is hot. So because it's so hot, I'm going to use a knife to scrape this off, as opposed to just using my fingers because it's just so hot inside. So you just scrape off all the seeds and slice the peppers. Then when you have multiple slices, you're going to cut the cheese into little chunks and put them on the fattest side of the pepper and then roll it up, and they will be very delicious. This is blue cheese. You can use cream cheese. You can also use cheddar cheese. You can alter it to the taste of the people you're serving. I am going to smear this corn, which I boiled for 30 seconds, onto my corn. I'm using my fingers. And so there's no need for butter here. This is going to be really good. I'm just going to add the last of the pesto right to the zucchini, and that'll add the flavor throughout the meal. You can see there how well it's cooked. And I'm going to put that all on top of the lettuce and give it a kind of stir. I don't want it all mixed in, but I just want to have it there, and then I'm drizzling it with some balsamic vinegar. This is very aged balsamic vinegar. So we have our corn, our salad, our delicious roulades, and then the fresh accidental butter, some bread my friend brought, and the delicious raspberries for dessert.
I need wine.
Yum! They're slippery.
Cheers.
Delicious.
Next time we'll get the bees out of the grill.
Thank you, Leah. Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, everybody.